Alright, today let's focus on how to improve your consistency during a pushing rally. After your serve, you can anticipate your attack. But in a pushing rally, the decision to attack is sudden, which can make you feel rushed. First, understand that your stance for looping is different from your stance for pushing. A common reason for getting jammed is failing to recover in time after a push, leaving you too close to the table. With your backhand, you can get away with being closer because of the short backswing. But for your forehand, being too close will get you jammed every time. One issue is that after you push, you're leaving your right foot forward and not resetting your stance. The second problem is you're staying too close to the table after your push and not creating space for the incoming ball. While you are pushing, you must create enough room to execute a loop. Otherwise, you won't have time to back up for a forehand. During a pushing rally, if you have any intention of attacking, you must take a small step back to create space after every push. If you just position yourself a little further back, you won't get jammed. If you stay close to the table after you push, you're guaranteed to feel jammed on your forehand loop. When your opponent wants to change the placement or force you to loop, they'll push the ball long, and that's when you'll get jammed. So, the first key point in a pushing rally is to create space after every single push. This is critical. Second point, which is faster, a pushed ball or a served ball? The serve, of course. Pushes are slower, and when spin is applied, the ball's trajectory kicks downwards after the bounce, making the ball feel heavy and stay low. Are you making mistakes because you're rushing the contact point? Try waiting for the ball and looping it in the descending phase. Stop trying to power loop every push from your opponent. It looks slow and soft, but it's loaded with backspin and will sink. Change your mindset. On both your forehand and backhand, focus on a spinny loop, wait for the descending phase, and make consistency your main goal. Using this contact point and rhythm, don't you think that will work better? Since it's hard to read the spin on their push, you can't effectively use the ball's incoming pace. A serve, on the other hand, has pace you can work with. But you can't use the pace from a push, especially one from an old-school penholder. The trajectory is just very awkward. The main characteristic of this kind of ball is that it doesn't move forward after the bounce. This lack of forward momentum is just like a ball coming off long pimples. The feel of a heavy push is very similar to a chop block from long pimples. The ball is heavy. To keep the ball from hitting the net, you need to adjust your body position and make contact further in front. Once you're in the right position, you can generate power effectively. If your opponent decides to do a fast, long push, then you can use its pace. Against that ball, you just need to brush it from a stable position. The error isn't in your stroke, but in your timing with the ball's force. All you need to do is get into the right position. So to summarize, 1. Recover into position and create space. 2. Loop the ball on its descent. 3. Move forward into your shot to generate power. See? Into the net again. Why? Because after you push, your hips are still locked in the forward position. For every ball, you have to pull your right foot back. That's how you create space for your forehand. Second, when you move for a forehand, you need to use the time to let your racket drop into the backswing position. A pushed ball is slow, so you have plenty of time to follow its trajectory down. Control your contact point with this rhythm, and you'll execute the loop. In a match, fast balls aren't the problem, it's the soft, spinny ones, because you're always tempted to just smash them. You need to stay low and keep your center of gravity down when looping. You hit the net because you raised your body too early. Let me show you another technique. When you loop, your body has to move to the correct position. After you push and move for the forehand, sometimes your footwork isn't set properly. So what do? Keep your racket in front of your body. Don't start the backswing prematurely. Once you've found the correct position, then you execute the loop. Your problem is you're starting your backswing too early, which creates a discrepancy between the ball's position and your contact point. The reason those last few balls floated out is because you were looping from an incorrect position. A backspin push to your forehand won't kick forward, so your feet must adjust your position in all directions before your arm can drop for the backswing. If your feet aren't set, your arm doesn't move. Keep it in the ready position. Use your body's core to find the ball, and keep your racket in front of your chest. Once you're in the right position, see how the spin doesn't feel as heavy? Otherwise, you'll always feel like you're reaching and being pulled off balance by the ball. The big danger in table tennis is starting your backswing too early. It ruins your positioning and forces you to hit the ball after only a single adjustment step. When you're preparing to loop a push, you must use your core and feet to get into position first. Only after you're set do you drop your arm for the backswing. Because the moment your arm drops, you're committed to the stroke. That's why you must adjust your position with your core and feet first. Most players try to hit the ball on the rise, but the time you get by waiting for it to drop is what you use for footwork. You should only hit after your feet have landed. You're always rushing the contact point. I'll show you how to wait. Let the ball drop lower and contact it there. That's the feeling. You have to trust that you can make the loop even from that lower contact point. See how much more consistent that is when you wait for it to drop? But this is about footwork. You need to be further back to wait for that low point. If you're too close and you wait, you'll run out of time for your stroke. So, when transitioning from a backhand push to a forehand, your right foot should step back to create space, not move forward. Let me show you a loop from a low point. See? It doesn't stop me from hitting a powerful shot. So you see, it's possible to hit a power loop even in the descending phase. You have to trust this. Just remember, move back to create space, then move forward into the ball. Against a push to your forehand, you absolutely must create some space by moving back. If you feel jammed by a deep ball, loop from your current position. If the ball is short, move forward into it. You have to provide the forward power for the ball. The softer your opponent's push, the more you have to generate your own forward power. Against a really fast ball, I can focus more on brushing upwards to create topspin. If the incoming ball is fast and I try to add forward power, it will go long. The combined force is just too much. Against a soft ball from your opponent, generating forward power is exactly what you should do. But if you only brush upwards on a soft ball, it's going straight into the net. A pushed ball is heavy and slow, you need forward power to lift it. If a no-pace ball comes and you only brush up, you won't be able to get a good grip on it. Honestly, power can cancel out spin. I could even just flat hit this ball and it would go on. When you get a fast ball, don't try to add power. Your job is just to create the arc. If you force it, the combined pace will send it long. All you need to do is brush the ball and create the arc. On soft balls, you must drive forward, not just brush up. You have to break that mental habit. Your current flaw is that you're always trying to hit the ball hard. But against their fast ball, all you need to do is add spin and create an arc. The more pace they give you, the easier it is to handle. Anytime your opponent gives you a short, soft backspin push, you must use your body or your hand to drive forward into the ball. But if the ball comes fast, my only job is to create the arc. They've already supplied the power. If I add my own, I'll either hit it long or get jammed. So my only responsibility is to brush the ball. At a higher level, it's less about perfect technique and more about how you adjust to each specific ball. For a third ball attack after your serve, taking the ball at the top of the bounce is perfectly fine.